As Mr. Bowman here. Today's learning objective is in red and we are learning to factorize, utilize factorizing to simplify algebraic expressions. So I just want to emphasize, we don't just factorize things for fun. Like, I enjoy it, but the ultimate reason is we have a purpose. One reason is to solve quadratics, which we're going to look at later. But the big reason, or the big benefit we've been looking to factorize for, is to help us simplify algebraic expressions. So I've got a few examples for us to look at. And the first one here, example number 1. So we've got 4x plus 4, and we're going to divide that by 6x plus 6. So if you have a look, there's not really much in common, and a lot of us might be tempted to simplify the numbers there to get 2/3, but we can't simplify until everything is multiplication. And the way we get our multiplication is through factorizing. So if you have a look at the top line, 4 and 4, they've both got a 4 in common, so it's going to be 4x plus 1. And down the bottom, 6x plus 6, well, they've both got a 6 in common. So we take out the 6 and then x plus 1. And the key thing I want to note here, up the top, it's 4 and then times that bracket, and then down the bottom, 6 times that bracket. So everything is just multiplication, which means we can actually cancel stuff out. And in this case, the thing they have in common is that bracket there. So if we cancel out that bracket, that's going to get us to 4 over 6. And then here they've both got 2's in common, so we're going to go divide by 2, and that's going to leave us with 2 over 3. And that there would be our simplified one. And I think we can all agree 2/3 is a lot simpler than our initial equation. So let's have a look at another example. So we've got 2x plus 2, and we're going to divide that by x squared minus 1. So again, it looks like a messy, complicated little expression. We've got x squared, x, there's division involved. Let's have a look to see what we can do. So we need to think factorizing. We can't just cancel out the numbers. Everything must be multiplication. So up the top, I know they've got a 2 in common, which is going to leave x plus 1. And then we're going to look at the bottom. And the bottom, I can see an x squared, which makes me think it's a quadratic. And x squared and 1 are both square numbers. And there's a minus sign. So that's making me think it's a difference between two squares. So I'm going to go square root of x squared will be equal to x square root of 1 is equal to 1. So they're both square numbers. So I'm going to go do x plus 1 and then x minus 1. So I factorize the top, factorize the bottom. You can have a look. Everything is multiplied together, because all the addition subtractions are wrapped in those brackets, and those brackets are being multiplied. Again, there's a common factor or a common bracket which we can cancel out, and that's going to leave us 2 divided by x minus 1. And then, yet again, that is a lot simpler than our initial expression at the beginning. Let's have a look at a third example. So example number 3. So let's say we've got x squared plus 5x plus 6, and that there is going to be divided by x squared plus 8x plus 12. The key thing I want to note is the plus signs aren't in a bracket, which means we can't just cancel stuff out. So, for example, we can't just cancel out these x squareds. We have to factorize before we can cancel. And I'm thinking both of them are x squareds, both of them are probably going to be double brackets. We're going to factorize the top and bottom, and hopefully we can get a bracket in common and we'll cancel them out. So if you have a look at the top, well, what two numbers add to 5 and multiply 6? And that there is 2 and 3, which means our first bracket will be x plus 2 and then x plus 3. And we've got to do the same for the bottom. What two numbers add to 8 but multiply to 12? I'm thinking 2 and 6. So that there is going to be x plus 2 and then x plus 6. And then having a look at the brackets, I can see the common one, x plus 2, so I'm going to cancel them out. And that's going to leave us with x plus 3 divided by x plus 6. We're now going to look at harder questions. So it is going to look a bit messy, but we'll see how it goes. So it's going to start off with some brackets, x plus 1, and in the bracket, next bracket, x minus 2 squared. And all of that is going to be divided by 4x squared minus 16x plus 16. So our job really is to factorize everything. So I like the top line because it's already factorized. So I'm now going to focus on factorizing the bottom bit there. And I can see all of them have a 4 in common, so I'm going to take that 4 out first. So that means the top line isn't changing. And the bottom line, I'm going to take out the 4, and then I'm going to do x squared minus 4x plus 4. I'm now going to focus on the x squared sitting within the brackets here. So I need to think, well, what two numbers add to negative 4 and multiply to positive 4? And I'm thinking negative 2 and negative 2. So that's going to be my double brackets. So we're going to have x plus 1, x minus 2. And here I'm just going to get rid of the squared by writing the bracket twice. And then that's going to be divided by 4x minus 2 and x minus 2. And what we can see, we've actually got a whole lot of x minus 2. So that one cancels out that one, that cancels out that, and that leaves us with x plus 1 divided by 4. It's a bit messy, but I think we can all agree comparing that with our first one is a lot simpler. So that's why we do our maths, we simplify, and that'll make our life a bit easier. I'm going to do one final example. I'm going to clear our workings for question 1 and 2, and then we're going to finish up with a doozy, and then we'll be able to get into heaps of practice. Okay, our fifth and final question, number 5. 5x squared minus 7x minus 6, and that is going to be divided by x squared plus x minus 6. So first step, neither the top or bottom are factorized, which is an issue. And we can see both of them have x squared. So I'm going to be looking to factorize the top and the bottom. I'm going to start off with the top. There's no common factors between the 5, 7, and 6. So I'm probably going to have to use the grouping method here, and I'm going to do my working on the side just so I can do that. So 5 times negative 6 is going to be equal to negative 30. So I've now got to think what numbers are going to multiply to that negative 30, and they're going to add to that negative 7 from the original question. And I'm thinking it's probably got something to do with 10 and 3 because they've got a difference of 7. So it's probably going to be negative 10 and 3. And we can check that negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7. Negative 10 times 3, negative 30. So perfect, big fan of that. I'm now going to split that up. So I'm going to go 5x squared minus 10x plus 3x minus 6. So I've split the 7x in the middle up into those two numbers. I'm now going to factorize the first part. They've got a 5x in common, so that will be x minus 2. The next part, they've both got a 3 in common, so that's going to be 3 and then x minus 2. And I like this because the brackets are the same, so that's going to be x minus 2 and then 5x plus 3. So I've factorized the top. So let's put that in for our next line of working. So we've got 5x plus 3 and then x minus 2. And I just want to note, I've switched these the other way around, but it doesn't actually matter which way they go. I've just switched them. Why not? And then we've got to factorize that second one. This one's a lot easier. What two numbers? They multiply to negative 6. They add to positive 1. That's going to be negative 3 and positive 2. So they form our brackets. So we've got x. Oh, actually, I've got the signs the wrong way around, haven't I? So that's positive 3 and negative 2. So x plus 3 and then x minus 2. Same bracket, cancel them out. So that's going to leave us with 5x plus 3 divided by x plus 3. And that there would actually be our fully simplified answer. I just want to note, a few of us are tempted, I'm going to do it in red because it's very wrong, a few of us are going to be real tempted to cross out those plus 3s. But we cannot cross those out because they're not wrapped around in any brackets. So that means they're not multiplication, there's no factors. We actually can't cancel that out at all. So guys, hopefully you found that interesting. So we looked at 5 questions where we used factorizing to help us simplify algebraic expressions. Now that you've seen me do this, it's your turn to do them now. So let's get into heaps and heaps of practice.